Just imagine this. You finally buy that long-awaited blockbuster, fire it up, and a couple of days later the police show up at your door, or the sellers. Sounds insane, right? For gamers in many countries, it's reality. Games that millions of people consider cult classics end up under hard bans in certain corners of the world. And the reasons can be anything. Severed heads and sexual content, an incorrectly drawn border on a map, a slot machine, or simply supporting your own army. Today we're breaking down the loudest and, most importantly, completely real and official cases when game development became an enemy of the state. Normally, the games industry is regulated by age ratings. They basically say, hey buddy, there's blood or swearing here, so this is 18 plus. But sometimes censors and governments decide an age disclaimer isn't enough and the game needs to be wiped from the market entirely. Why does this happen? The reasons almost always point to a country's cultural, political, or religious peculiarities. Watching it is like reading a psychological profile of an entire government. I've divided today's cases into a few logical blocks. The Call of Duty series is one of the most popular in the world, but it can't be freely bought or played everywhere. Several countries have officially banned or significantly restricted certain parts of the game due to political or historical content. In 2024, Kuwait did not allow the release of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. The reason was the depiction of Saddam Hussein and the events of the 1990 to 1991 Gulf War when Iraq occupied Kuwait. Activision confirmed that the game was not approved for release and canceled all pre-orders with full refunds. In Pakistan, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was banned. The local Traders Association stated that the game portrays Pakistan as a weak state where terrorist organizations operate openly and also negatively depicts Pakistan's ISI intelligence agency. In Russia, the No Russian mission was removed from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, a sequence involving the shooting of civilians at an airport. A full ban on the game was not introduced, but the scene was censored specifically for the Russian market. We start with the freshest and most high-profile case, one where the game was banned not just because of its content, but because of the legal status of its creators. We're talking about Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl from the Ukrainian studio GSC Game World. The studio itself blocked sales in Russia and Belarus of its own accord before release. But in November 2025, the Russian Prosecutor General's office went further and designated GSC Game World an undesirable organization. The official reason given by the authorities: the developers' financial support for the armed forces of Ukraine and the promotion of Ukrainian narratives. What does that mean in practice for gamers in Russia? A complete ban on the studio's activities. Any public distribution, promotion, or purchase of the game after that decision carries legal consequences, from administrative fines to actual prison time for cooperating with an undesirable organization. That's how a game release turned into a criminal legal risk. Hearts of Iron 3 and C&C Generals. If the previous case banned the developer, China loves banning games for incorrect history. The grand strategy Hearts of Iron 3 received a full ban in China because on the 1930s map Tibet, Xinjiang, and Manchuria were shown as separate states. And the cult classic Command and Conquer was kicked off the Chinese market because of the very first mission for the Chinese army, in which terrorists blow up Tiananmen Square. The government decided that depicting the destruction of Chinese national symbols is taboo. Maps in East Asia are a special kind of pain for developers. If creators accidentally draw the so-called 9-dash line, China's claim to most of the South China Sea, the game gets instantly banned in Vietnam or the Philippines. If they don't draw it, it gets banned in China. Moving on to the bloody stuff. When Rockstar Games released Manhunt 2 in 2007, they seemed to be testing the censor's nerves. The British Board of Film Classification (BBFC) simply refused to give the game any age rating at all. In Britain, that automatically means a total sales ban. Official reason: high levels of sadism and unjustified violence. Ireland, Germany, and New Zealand backed the ban. Rockstar had to urgently cut the bloodiest scenes and add screen blurring during executions just to release a censored version. Postal 2. Owning Manhunt 2 in Britain wouldn't have got you in legal trouble. In New Zealand, Postal 2 is a completely different story. In 2004, it was banned with the wording, offensive content, homophobia, desecration of corpses, and cruelty to animals. But the law is what really hits hard. Selling or distributing Postal 2 in New Zealand can land you a fine or up to 10 years in prison. Even personal possession of a copy carries a substantial fine under the law, one of the strictest censorship precedents in the world. Here's a case where a game or a specific mode gets blocked not because of story or blood, but because of economic mechanics. In 2019, the Diamond Casino opened in GTA Online. Players could buy chips with in-game currency, which in turn could be bought with real money. Result? Casino features were completely disabled in more than 50 countries. Governments were clear. If a player buys chips with real money and loses them at poker, that's gambling, subject to strict regulation or outright bans. Sometimes the wording of a law is so clumsy that everything ends up banned. In 2002, the Greek government passed Law Number 3037 to fight illegal gambling. The text was written so poorly that it banned all electronic and computer games in public places and even at home. Game Boys, PC games, and mobile games all fell under the ban. Police raided internet cafes and fined people for playing Counter-Strike. The absurdity lasted several months until the European Union forced Greece to repeal it. We close the list with a religious context. In 2001, the Saudi Higher Council of Religious Scholars issued an official fatwa, religious ban, on Pokemon cards and games. Main reasons: the concept of Pokemon evolution, in the theologian's view, contradicted religious dogma, and the card mechanics resembled gambling. The ban was referenced again when Pokemon Go launched in 2016. As we can see, video games left the realm of simple children's entertainment a long time ago. They're a massive medium that has become a stage for political statements, geopolitical disputes, and legal precedents. Sometimes bans protect people from gambling or unjustified sadism, but often they're just a tool of censorship. When states try to control what people are allowed to play. How do you feel about bans like these?